My fellow Ambalanders, dear soldiers of the Ambazonian War of Independence, thank you all, my dear people, for having trust and faith in your struggle. I am more confident than ever that our determination, our refusal to blink when it is not necessary, has pushed us to this level. I want to send my words of courage to all of our people who are detained in the jails of Cameroon, those who are locked up in Ambazonia. I want to send you a word of encouragement that the signs are positive, extremely positive. And sooner than later, we should receive you home. We thank you all for your sacrifices. We thank you for your determination, for the courage you have shown despite losing your right to liberty. We also want to promise you, for all those who brought pain unto you and to your families, we will hold them accountable. There will be no forgiveness. There will be no forgetting. All those who've brought impunity, deprive you of your liberty, and detain you under conditions that are inhumane and degrading, will be brought to justice. It is a solemn promise we make to this generation of warriors who've laid their lives for a greater cause. It's a solemn promise we make to our people that we will hunt the perpetrators of crimes against humanity in our land to the gates of hell. We will dig their graves and exhume their bodies and take them to our capital and bring them to justice. There will be no escape. To all of you soldiers defending your block, your neighborhood, protecting our women, I want to thank all of you for the sacrifices, for the commitment to our struggle for a free homeland. To all the families that continue to suffer because of our war of independence. To all the mothers, all the fathers, our brothers and sisters, all those who aren't going to school. The promise for a free Ambazonia is the ultimate gift that we can offer you. And we will not rest until we restore a system that can give you a proper education, that can have an economy based on stability, opportunity. To all those who've lost their lives, I want all of us to observe a minute of silence in honor of their sacrifices. May the souls of all those who've gone before us rest in perfect peace. My fellow citizens, dear Ambazonians, we have come a long way. We've come a long way, and we are at the best time in our struggle. We've sacrificed. Our people have gone through a lot of pain. Our men and women have shown endurance. Others have paid the ultimate sacrifice for a free country. We have also demonstrated our maturity in the way we have conducted ourselves, in the way we have treated Cameroonians within our homeland, in the way we have projected our cause. In the last few years, we defined a strategy that was consistent with the nature of the regime, the way they react on peaceful protest. We defined an impeccable strategy that was designed to confront the evil within our homeland and to project our struggle, take it beyond the domestic jurisdiction of Cameroon, to draw the attention of the international system. We fought across the entire homeland to ensure that we could make Ambazonia ungovernable. Because we were clear from the beginning that the presence of Cameroon within our homeland is predicated on exploitation and extortion. And we had a responsibility to stop the exploitation of our resources, the deforestation of our hinterlands, and to make sure we preserve our natural resources for generations yet to come. This strategy was specifically designed to raise the cost of the occupation. And I can assure you, as I have said repeatedly, we have succeeded. We know Cameroon is bankrupt. We know they can't pay a civil servant. We know there is chaos within the Cameroon governmental structures. The signs are visible for every Ambazonian. The indicators are there for any analyst to come to the conclusion that it's just a matter of time before the system buckles and collapses. It is not by chance that we have reached at this level. It is based on a well-defined strategy. A strategy that was contextualized to respond to the typicalities of the regime in Yaoundé, to respond to the typicalities of our geographic location, hemmed in by two countries, none of which desires us to be free. We knew we had to look from within to challenge the very system that has curtailed our liberties, that has denied us the opportunity to develop our capabilities within our homeland and to aspire for certain things better. The ground action that we put in place was to be married by an international action, because the question of political recognition is not a domestic one. It's an international issue. To become a member of the international club like the United Nations or the African Union, you must project your cause beyond your own borders. You must make sure that the international system understands why you struggle. You must also conduct yourself with a high degree of integrity to be accepted. You must make sure you build a system that can protect international peace and security, that can allow international commerce unhampered, that can provide for its own people. You must demonstrate your depth of knowledge and understanding of the mechanics of the international system. We work extremely very hard in what we term internationalization, because that was the first step to bring awareness on the streets of the international system, to educate the citizens of Western countries on the plight of our people, the justness of our cause, and the objectives of our struggle. We organized demonstrations across the globe because we knew once we win the support of the ordinary citizens, we will be able to influence policies to enable targeted diplomacy to take its course. Some thought we were mad, like they attacked us on self-defense. They called us warmongers. They said we weren't prepared. We didn't have Apache helicopters. Cameroon was too powerful to be challenged because our forebears died on the same spot on which the General Amigos, the General Ivos, the Efangs, the RKs, and the others have risen. That we were too weak to defeat an amalgamation of Cameroon and France and other international supporters. They misjudged us. They became political pundits for a decaying political order that we had studied, that we understood, and that we were definitely very sure that the strategies we have put in place were going to work meticulously, and that we were going to achieve the short-term, medium, and long-term results, and that this strategy on the ground was in sync with the strategy of internationalization that brought awareness to the international system about our struggle to educate its citizenry, to educate its people, and to expose the banality of evil and the conspiracy of the international system against our people. We needed to do this if the strategy of targeted diplomacy was to work. We were attacked and termed flight by flight. We were cursed. We knew exactly where we were coming from. We took our time to understand the domestic politics of the countries that we were campaigning within. We knew exactly where we were headed to. Though our primary objective was not to ask them to recognize our state as independent, we knew once we educate them enough to understand the importance, the foreign policy advantage of an independent Ambazonia as against a decaying and decadent political system that is unsustainable called Cameroon, we will have a shot, because the nature of the international system is such that it works on the premise of benefit. Fellow citizens, we knew exactly what we were doing at each stage of our strategy. Orders came in. They attacked first the relevance of that strategy. They attacked its strategic and tactical objective. They tried to undermine the visionaries, the actors who were well schooled in these strategies, in order to destroy their credibility and to take it over. Once they got into self-defense, it became extremely very difficult for us to maintain the kind of discipline that we had anticipated on the ground. Because a disciplined self-defense is one that projects authority on the ground, that assures our citizens, protects them from kidnappers, protects them from extortionists, and ultimately protects them from the brutality of Cameroon. A disciplined self-defense sends a chilling message to the occupier that these are people ready. These are people disciplined enough to understand what they are fighting for. It also sends a message to the international system that once given independence, these people will be able to protect their territorial integrity, ensure political stability, a necessary precondition for economic development. Those who came into self-defense tried by all means to take it over. They created chaos. They created doubt in the minds of the international system. They attacked the very foundation upon which our strategic orientation of the block by block was designed. It translated into the death of our people. It translated into camps being attacked. It translated into murders, kidnapping for ransom. It challenged the very doctrine that underpinned our strategy of self-defense. The consequences have been far-reaching on the security of our people. The consequences have been far-reaching on the projection of discipline and stability that is necessary for recognition at the international system. We still maintain our calm and our posture. We were convinced that because revolutions are difficult, revolutions are extensive, that education will get our people to be in sync with our strategy. That enough education will get our people to understand why we designed the strategies in the first place. We built the collaborative force called the contender force, designed to make sure we can protect our periphery, build an assault force, support different defense groups, bring back confidence in the fighting men and women on the ground, and to give confidence to the international system that we are ready as a people, as a nation, to take over our country and become the next governors. We worked also within the realm of the international system. We traveled across the globe to educate our people, to build communities that were loyal to the state, communities that were loyal to the flag, communities that were loyal to the anthem. We built communities that were loyal to every leader, that were open to receive every leader of our war of independence, that were open to support best practices, project cohesiveness, project a semblance of a collaborative system that knew exactly what they were doing. As we walk our way across the globe, we brought joy and hope in the minds of our people. We gave them a sense of understanding where they are headed to. We exposed the difficulties along the way. We factored in an automated system that could anticipate any changes in the attitude of the regime, in the attitude of our people, in the attitude of our opportunities, and in the attitude of the international system. We self-adjusted our strategies to respond to these unforeseen circumstances. It worked extremely very well. Our people were mobilized across the globe to give hope to the revolution, to send hope to ground zero, to send a sense of optimism in the minds of our people, even those who didn't believe in our cause, those who didn't believe in the outcome of independence. It brought a sense of anticipation of a freed homeland. It brought a sense of nationhood, of citizenship. We worshiped our flag, sang our anthem. We cried together. We marched together. We fought together like one people oppressed by one enemy. It was a time of great sense of optimism that cuts across generation, across time-bound time and space. Same set of persons came in. They attacked us, attacked the ingenuity of our activism, questioned our integrity, divided those communities, created groups that were loyal to them rather than to the flag and to the state, attacked others. They divided every community across the globe to be loyal to them, to worship them. It changed the focus of our people. It changed the sense of purpose, determination, and direction. that has defined the different strategies from the ground and the international system. We still, like we did in self-defense, kept our calm, because any injection of chaos in our revolution will make sure we lose. My dear citizens, I bring you this history so you don't forget, so you understand deeply why we've been focused. You understand deeply why we've refused to be opportunistic. So you should understand why we've rejected the easy path, even if it brought us temporal glory. We went into the realm of targeted diplomacy. We got admission into UNPO. It opened us the doors of greater opportunities. Our admission as a people was undermined, was attacked. When attacks and sabotage and blackmail couldn't work, there was duplication in admission. There was duplication in application. It was attacked as irrelevant. They told our people that UNPO didn't matter. We traveled across the globe for targeted diplomacy at the European Union, European Parliament. We went to the Basque countries. We spoke quietly to diplomats, explaining the essence of the recognition of Amazonia, why the recognition of our homeland is critical for stability in the Gulf of Guinea, why it is for the foreign policy interests of the United Kingdom, of the United States, of the European Union, of the African Union, to recognize an independent Amazonia. We were told the Basque didn't matter, that all of these targeted diplomatic efforts didn't matter. We made it clear, because we had studied other revolutions, that when the time for negotiations will come, we will see the signals. The signals will be clear to every Amazonian. The signals will be very clear to every leader. Because we've lived under Cameroon for 59 years. And we understand what Cameroon means when it talks of dialogue. Because Deacon Tassin, the Agbobalas, experienced Cameroon's definition of dialogue. Cameroon's definition of dialogue means capitulation. For those who rejected the premise of its own form of dialogue, like Deacon Tassang and the others did. The Fontaines were kidnapped. The Balas were kidnapped. And those who rose behind them to demand an independent homeland, like BBC Mancho, they were hunted like game, kidnapped and transported to the capital of the enemy, where they were locked up. Fellow Amazonians, in the past few weeks, we have raised our struggle at the international system. When I declared that Amazonia was now an international contender, I meant we are now recognized as a party to the conflict. I meant we were now a stakeholder as far as the international system was concerned. You could see that in debates in the House of Commons. You could see that in debate in the Senate of the United States, in actions at the Bundestag, international outings by other stakeholders. The language of international diplomats started shifting. That was a moment we could have maintained our stability our focus to build capacity on the ground. So when the time for negotiation comes, we do it from a position of strength. In the past few weeks again, we've gotten overtures within the European system. All leaders have participated in capacity building in Brussels. As late as last year, we were informed that there were overtures from the Swiss government. As late as 2018, we were informed that there were overtures from the Swiss government. We were aware, but we knew, because of the strategic importance of Switzerland to Cameroon, it would be foolhardy to embrace such overtures without interrogation. The Swiss humanitarian dialogue had reached out to the Amazonian Governing Council, had sent a delegation of my press secretary, the spokeslady, and the National Security Advisor to have initial conversation with the humanitarian dialogue to understand what their status, their posture, as far as those overtures were concerned. Once there was clarity that Cameroon and the humanitarian dialogue were working together for the issue of decentralization, we rejected further contacts. Every attempt to get to my office was blocked. We were also aware that humanitarian dialogue had reached out to other leaders. That was common knowledge to my office and the Amazonian Governing Council. But we had made it extremely very clear that because we understand what it takes to enter into any form of negotiation, we needed to be prepared. We needed to do our homework, to educate our people, to build our capacity on the ground so that we can, when the time comes, negotiate from a position of strength. I know most of you have always questioned why I was not in Geneva. Let me make it abundantly clear. I will not be going to Geneva, not now and not in the future. We are ready for dialogue, for negotiation to end Cameroon's presence within Amazonia. When the time comes, when Cameroon sends the signal of its readiness, when the international system begins to send out the kind of messages that are consistent with the aspirations of the Amazonian people, we will be on the table to sign Cameroon's capitulation and surrender within our homeland. As far as Switzerland is concerned, let me explain the following. And I have done so in the background to all those who have spoken to me. We respect Switzerland. We have nothing particularly against humanitarian dialogue's engagement in the process. We have nothing particularly against the Swiss government being engaged in the process. But we have made it clear that the Swiss government has not been able to clarify if it is a facilitator or it is a mediator. They have been unable to clarify if they are ready to accept independence as an outcome of any negotiated settlement. What has been happening in Switzerland has not been negotiations, has been capacity building. Ambazonians must understand carefully, we are not yet in the phase of negotiation. Ambazonia is not ready for negotiation. Before we get into negotiation, we must have a guarantor, a state guarantor that backs Ambazonia. I did say in my last outing that we have submitted an application for that, and the signs are positive. We cannot have any discussion on Ambazonian independence in Geneva. Geneva is too close to Yaoundé. It is too close to Cameroon. We will need a neutral venue where we can assure our population that that particular stakeholder is independent, neutral, and impartial. We are not against Cameroon getting Switzerland as a facilitator, as long as Cameroon is going to accept another independent country as a guarantor for Ambazonia. We will be ready to accept Switzerland as a guarantor for Cameroon. We will also accept Switzerland as a mediator, working together with another country that has a track record in terms of negotiations of this magnitude and is able to guarantee, alongside the international system, that they were going to implement the outcome of any negotiated settlement. My fellow Ambazonians, you must be reminded that we were called upon on the 11th of February 1961 to vote for our independence, to either integrate into Nigeria or to join Cameroon in a federation. A few months after that vote, the United Nations passed a resolution calling on the parties to organize a post-plebiscite conference to ensure that the aspiration expressed by our people were going to be turned into law. They were going to be implemented. The United Nations, the United Kingdom, France, and Cameroon withdrew from this process and allowed Cameroon to occupy our homeland. We will not repeat a process without having clarity that the same United Nations that is supporting the Swiss initiative, the same United States and other European Union and others are ready to come forward and assure the Ambazonian people that in case of an outcome of a negotiated settlement, they will be able to implement that particular outcome. They will not abdicate their responsibility as they did in 1961, allowing Cameroon to occupy our homeland and treat us with impunity. We will not be rushed into any false hope. We have bled for 59 years to have a country of our own. Cameroon is an occupying state, violating international law. It did not negotiate its way into Ambazonia. I don't understand why it wants to negotiate its way out of Ambazonia. As far as we are also concerned, Cameroon has not indicated its readiness to even engage in the process. As far as we are concerned, the Swiss government, including the United States, the European Union, are unable up till now to identify properly the conflict parties. Until they identify the conflict parties, they are not ready to be facilitators and impartial mediators. We are Ambazonians, not a geographic region of Cameroon. We are a people defined and accepted as such under international law. We are not asking for political recognition. We are not asking for the recognition of our state. We are asking for the recognition of the premise of international law that defines us as a people. And we call ourselves Ambazonians. We are not a geographic region of Cameroon. Good faith requires the international system to show the first positive step in appropriately recognizing the conflict parties, Cameroon and Ambazonia. We are happy with the change in appellation by humanitarian dialogue that describe us first as a geographic region and then as Southern Cameroons. But we are Ambazonians. My fellow people, I know some of you think I am intransigent. Some of you think it has to be my way. No, I am not intransigent. When you deal with a system like Cameroon that has served us blood, that has milked our economy, that has battered our people, that has shown so much bad faith even in electoral processes, you must take a firm stance. If you've gone through the tunnel of darkness dealing with Cameroon being unable to implement simple decisions that it has made, including the University of Boya, the GCE board, if Cameroon is unable to implement these things in good faith, if you are dealing with an international system that abdicated its responsibility in 1961, if you are dealing with an international system that is unable at this critical phase of our struggle to recognize appropriately the conflict parties, then there is something wrong. That is not intransigence. That is being firm. I know some said I should have been to Switzerland. No. Leaders don't negotiate at the initial stages. These negotiations or exploration of the possibilities of negotiations are done by experts put in place by those leaders. We can't be that cheap. Of course, I would have flown to Geneva. Free flight, free hotel, free food. Probably I would have been sleeping in a 5-star hotel, unlike sleeping on the floor in Stansted. Who is going to reject that? It's because I have decided, until the international system gives us the assurances that they understand what we want, they recognize us as a nation, rightfully so, as defined by international law, then they are not entering into the process in good faith. Then we will see that their primary objective is to solve the humanitarian issues while negating the root causes that have engendered the humanitarian crisis. We aren't stupid in the 21st century. We weren't stupid in 1961. We haven't fought this hard, bloody hard, to be lied to. All those who want to fly to Geneva, it's up to them. And I am not going to be taking part in this party. This is goddamn so serious that we must get it right. For me, it is not experimentation. We must see the positive steps being taken by these systems. Let me also explain another scenario. Why not Geneva? I know I have explained the closeness of Geneva to Yaoundé. Perception matters when it comes to issues of negotiation. It matters a lot. Negotiations are tough businesses. You must get it right in terms of venue. Where negotiations takes place sends a powerful message whether you win or you lose. You cannot imagine, with all what we know, factually or perception, about the standing of Switzerland, that we Ambazonians will accept to go to Geneva to negotiate the outcome of the Ambazonian War of Independence. Makes no sense. We have nothing against Switzerland. We appreciate their entrance into this. We recognize the effort HD has done in other conflicts. We recognize, the steps that sometimes Switzerland has been taking in the past few days to throw out the tyrant. We recognize these steps. These are positive moves. These are positive steps. But let us have this imagination. For us to have a negotiated settlement that will be accepted by the Ambazonian people, we must kill perception. For us to have a sustainable process, we must move with the Ambazonian people. We must move with them. And so we must give them the confidence that the choice of the venue is going to be for their interests. Let's take this case scenario. That during the negotiations, Ambazonia becomes intransigent. Just imagine we become intransigent. And HD or the Swiss government comes out and says Ambazonia is intransigent. What do you think spoilers will say? They would say, we knew it. We knew after all Switzerland was too close to Cameroon. We knew they were going to take the side of Cameroon. Nobody is going to look at the substantive reasons why probably Switzerland is saying we are intransigent. Possibly we may be intransigent. But imagine the negotiations were taking place in Scotland with a history of fighting for external self-determination within the United Kingdom. And Scottish mediators come out and say Ambazonia is intransigent. Our people will sit back and say maybe they're right. Because they know these people too have been going down this path for external self-determination. So we must get it right, my people. I'm not gonna move my position. They're gonna move to us. For 59 years we've moved to them. We've begged. We've pleaded. We've went down on our knees. I have also told the international system, we can defeat Cameroon outrightly in the battlefield and single-handedly set the terms of the termination of the conflict. We have the ability to defeat Cameroon. They know Cameroon is collapsing. All this talk about dialogue and negotiation is to save Cameroon, it's not to give Ambazonia independence. If it was about to give Ambazonia independence, they will begin by recognizing you as a people. It is to save Cameroon. Open your eyes, my people. I may not be around for too long. I know all the conspiracies to take me down. But as I wrote on my timeline today, I won't betray the struggle. I won't betray a comrade. I will be loyal to the aspirations of our people for an independent state. And as long as I breathe this air, my position will be a reflection of our historical misguided opportunities, the nature of Cameroon's regime, and our ability to discern what is right and what is wrong. Fellow Ambazonians, we made it clear. Don't take the leap into the dark. You don't need it. We are in the 21st century. You can predict the future by understanding actors. You can understand their motivations by reading history about engagements that they have been taking part in. You don't need to take a leap into the dark in the 21st century. They will come to us. We will not go to them. They will come to us. It is our war of independence. It is our cause. It is not theirs. We thank them for their engagement. We thank them for their participation. Come to us. We will choose the venue. My fellow citizens, these are complex issues. Dr. Cho Ayaba is not going to be sitting anywhere talking with or having lectures on negotiation. That's not my field. It's not going to happen. So if you think I will be taking a flight next time somewhere to Geneva, it's not going to happen. I'm going to maintain a very, very firm and unflinching stance because of our experiences. I am open for discussions. I have been having background discussions with the leaders of ARC. I've been having background discussions with other leaders for us to set up our expert-led team. Our expert-led team. We will also set the defense group. They will have a say. That means it will be a triangulation. Leaders, expert-led team, the defense. Every decision that will be taken by the political leadership must have a stamp of authority and acquiescence by the defense forces. Because when it comes to implementation of outcomes of negotiation, they are relevant. We don't want miscalculations. Let the international system understand we are open. We are willing. We have never been intransigent. At the beginning of our war of independence, we knocked on their doors. We marched on their streets. Some of them received us. We explained our plight, our objectives, our mission, and our destination. Listen carefully. Triangulation. Defense groups, political leaders, expert negotiators. The role of the expert will be to explore, to understand the readiness of the conflicting parties. We are not going to hear whether Cameroon is supporting the process. We need written statement from Yaoundé, written, sent to the facilitators or mediators. That should be transmitted to Ambazonian leaders, saying they are ready to dialogue or to negotiate for Ambazonia, with Ambazonia. We need that firm commitment. We need commitment written from facilitators and mediators of their commitment to the outcome of that negotiated settlement and their commitment to implementation of the outcome. A commitment that is judicially enforceable so that any default, we can take them for arbitration. We aren't going to play in 2019, play as though we're in 1945. No. We're wiser, stronger, have the scars of our foolishness to show this generation. We will do it together. We will do it judiciously. We will not show weakness. We aren't begging. We've got nothing more to lose. We lost our boys, lost our educational system. We've got nothing more to lose. Our streets are flowing with the blood of our patriots. We lost our homeland to a decadent, outdated political system that has nothing to show for. So we have to be firm, my people. I understand. You think firmness is intransigence. No, firmness is not intransigence. It is getting it right. It is getting it right. My fellow Ambazonians, for us to be free, for us to be truly independent, we must have the capacity and the capability to defend that independence. Don't forget, we have been independent. We didn't have the means to defend that independence because the occupier routed our own police forces, destroyed our own defense systems. And so we could walk into our homeland like Jesus was walking into Jerusalem, unopposed, uncontested. You must build your defenses. every nation, every people that have been free and are able to defend that independence have built an invincible defense force that is equipped with the means, the know-how, to be a deterrence to any foreign intrusion, being able to protect its own people. We have gotten it right all the way, from defense to internationalization to quiet, targeted diplomacy that is manifesting itself today in overtures of negotiation. We must get this process right. This is the turning point of our war of independence. Don't take a leap into the dark. You don't need it. Don't hurry to make yourself relevant. Every day we spend less time sleeping, treating the wounded on the ground, fighting and bleeding on our streets. You can't talk for us. You can't dictate the terms of talks for us. You can't bully us into talks. You can't shout us into talks. You can't threaten us. We've got nothing to lose. The life so precious to our generation probably means nothing today because of the blood flowing down on our streets. We craft for a better country, for the next warriors, and we must build it on a foundation as firm as possible, so no one, no opportunist, no experimentalist will ever mess with our liberty, right to survive in the land of our birth, to build a system consistent with our values, to project authority, to transform our economic space into that of opportunities for our people, and to serve other causes beyond our shores. We, this generation, are a torchlight to peoples across the world. We are the original. If you want to duplicate it, don't mess up with the original, because we will fight you back. Fellow Ambazonians, you've done well. You've done extremely very well. As I've always said, love and peace. You've taken us from obscurity to become the beacon of hope in a backyard full of hopelessness. Your determination has rewritten the playbook on how revolutions are fought and won. Your stamina and foresight is giving hope to people across different planets. How you behave now will determine who we become tomorrow. How you behave and conduct yourselves now will determine whether you are free or remain slaves forever. For me and my people, we are headed to Boya, and we aren't blinking. God bless you all.